Well, it is one of the top leading causes of death in this country, and more than 5 million people have it. It's Alzheimer's disease. 2 years ago this week, we introduced you to Kathy Pugh, whose husband Mike was diagnosed with a mild to moderate case of the disease. Tonight, part one of a special two-part follow-up series as we check in with Kathy to get the latest on Mike's condition.
Mike's condition has deteriorated to the point where he sits in a chair and fiddles with a Rubik's Cube and listens to music. He is talking to someone. You can't understand it.
Tough for Kathy Pugh of Jamestown to understand how her 58-year-old husband Mike of 15 years went from an active outdoorsman to someone who has no concept of time and no connection to her. A man who was in the final stages of Alzheimer's disease and now lives at Heritage Village Rehab and Skilled Nursing in Gary. The move came after Mike started wandering during the night at home, a sign he was no longer safe to live there.
And I had to sleep with literally one eye open because I was afraid he would fall down the stairs. And it just, between his mood swings and things, I knew it was time.
So in October of last year, Kathy packed some of Mike's things and moved him into Heritage.
I felt like I was giving up. But 3 days after I placed him, he took a fall, and I knew at that time I had made the right decision. It was hard. It was really hard. He didn't understand, obviously, and I tried to explain to him best I could. This is what I have to do. I said, I can't take care of you anymore.
Mike is just one of about 25 in the dementia unit at Heritage who can now get the proper care.
We have a Connections program, which is our dementia care program, which is available for people with dementia. It gives people more of a purpose to their day, as opposed to them just sitting in their rooms all day. It gives them more activities to do and to kind of help their minds refresh a little bit.
To keep his mind fresh during their initial visits, Kathy and Mike would go for walks, watch Animal Planet in his room, and eat meals together.
And now the visits, now I come over, I stand back and I look at him, and he's just sitting in his chair listening to his music, and that's that. He doesn't acknowledge that you're there, and it's sad. It hurts. It hurts a lot to know that he's in there somewhere, but you just don't know.
Now, tomorrow on Cable 8 News, we will hear more from Kathy and give you the details about the upcoming Memory Walk on Saturday. Part two now of our conversation with Jamestown's Kathy Pugh, whose 58-year-old husband Mike is now in the final stage of Alzheimer's disease. We talked to Kathy 2 years ago, and I asked her then if she was prepared for the day when Mike didn't know who she was. She said no. When her worst fear finally came true, I asked her to describe what that day was like.
He looked at me like it was a deer in headlights. And I could tell right away. He had no idea who I was. I gotta say, that was almost the worst day of my life.
An awful memory for Jamestown's Kathy Pugh, whose husband Mike can't remember her at all. He spends most of his days sleeping in a chair or sitting in his room at Heritage Village Rehab and Skilled Nursing in Gary, unable to do anything for himself. Kathy moved Mike in last October after he became too much to take care of at home. During one of their visits, however, Kathy recalls an amazing moment she will never forget.
He was having a very lucid moment. For 3 hours, we talked about our honeymoon. We went to Cozumel. He knew where we went. He knew the people we met. He even remembered having the cab driver stop so he could take a picture of a crab running across the road. And that was really cool.
And though a short time later his memory of Kathy was gone again, it's moments like those that Kathy can only now share through photo albums and pictures, with people like Valerie Johnson, Director of Social Work at Heritage. Several members of the Heritage staff will be taking part in Saturday's Memory Walk at 10 a.m. at the Turner Center at Chautauqua Institution, as they have for the past decade.
There's over 220,000 people in Western New York who are affected by Alzheimer's and dementia, and chances are a lot of people probably know one of those people. So it really affects everybody, and it's something that people in our facilities and people that participate in the walk really hold near and dear to their heart.
People like Kathy, who will be walking in honor of her husband Mike and giving support to the millions of others affected by a disease that has taken so much.
It's not like a cold. If you get a cold, they give you antibiotics, it goes away. Once you have Alzheimer's, it never goes away. It's there.
Okay, I want to know.
So yes, people need to get out, people need to support. We can't stop it now, it's too late for Mike, but it might help somebody else later down the road.
Now, if you would like more information on the upcoming walk, you can log on to www.alz.org.